Welcome back, Book Dragons. You're listening to Book Talk with Kay, the podcast that takes you inside the minds of authors you love. I'm your host, Kay, and with me tonight is my co-host, Joe, and we are talking to the brilliant author, Megan Russ. Hi, Megan.
Hi, Kay. Hi, Joe.
Hello, hello. So,
Hello,
Megan,
everybody listening at home.
what are some of your favorite things that you've written so far?
That I have written so far. One of my favorites, and I know it's a fan favorite as well, it's called Rock Garden. It is a short story that I actually released with the Butchered Writers originally last year in their Underground volume. It is a short story about a Gorgon, so my version of Medusa, and a group of men that come to hunt her, and the aftermath of what happens when people come after somebody who has no qualms about taking their rage out on those who invade their territory. And I know it's a fan favorite. It got put in their best of volume. It's also featured in my Night Creatures lair because that's the world that story takes place in. And that is definitely one of my favorites. My favorite like full published work would be my most recent collection, Lore, which leads into my current world that I'm working on building and releasing novels in. And that one's a short story collection that kind of, as the name implies, builds the world lore for the world of Earth. And it's a fun collection that kind of dips into some dark fantasy and brings monsters and heroes to life and shows the fall of a world from where gods once walked with them and they had a lot of magic to a world where only darkness really has any control over that type of power anymore. And I think those are definitely my two favorite right now.
So like darkness reigns in your world.
Oh, yes.
Okay. All right.
Oh, yes. Very, very dark themes, but a lot of like the hope on the horizon. They just have to get there.
Okay, that's good. At least there's hope. I like
Yeah.
What draws you into the dark fantasy genre?
I mean, I play a lot of tabletop gaming, and that's where I draw a lot of my story inspiration comes from the tabletop games I play in my spare time. And a lot of the like published like actual like stories that you can follow as like just a gamer without any really work on your own or tend to be a little bit darker with that, that theme of the heroes are going to rise and take over and push the darkness back, right? And that's just kind of the same thing I like putting in my stories. I like writing, like Rock Garden is actually from the point of view of the monster. A lot of my short stories take place in the point of view of the creature or monster to kind of build that sympathy with the evil entity when they might not necessarily be actually evil, just have some strange motives.
Wasn't there someone that was talking about how that's a way to write,
Mm-hmm.
to get your juices flowing, is to write from the villain's perspective.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, it's fun.
I didn't know that was a thing for like fantasy authors to do, to flesh out your characters a little bit more, to write from the villain's point of view.
Yeah, I've done it a couple times. I'm not so much doing that in my new series that I'm starting, but yeah, I have so much fun when my short stories kind of dipping into that. Like, what is the motive, or what is the driving force behind this evil entity?
Yeah.
Definitely helps.
What? So tell us how you got into writing.
I actually got into writing when I was in elementary school. In 1996, my elementary school had a writing contest and allowed us to enter a story, and if it was good enough, it would end up in the library.
That's cool.
And my story won in I think it was it third grade? Yeah, I think it was third grade for that one. And they published it in this little hardback. It's like, what is that, size 8 by like the 12, like normal, like printer size sheets. And it's got this little leather bound. I actually have a copy. It sits on my bookshelf. And I got published in my school library. And of course, being 8, in my brain, I was like, cool, I'm going to be a published author when I grow up, right? I'm going to be famous. I'm going to write the best stories ever. I'm going to be the next big thing. And of course, life happens. And I was 8 and I didn't know how to put an actual good story together. But I tried my hand at it for years. And I just never stopped, really. I wrote Pokemon fan fiction. I tried my hand at some HP fan fiction back in the early days. And of course, it's stuff that I was the only one ever seeing it. And then I tried my hand at indie publishing in like 2006. I tried to publish my own novel, which I did through the Amazon, their self-publishing stuff. And I was a teenager. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know the industry. I didn't have an editor. I didn't have even like a good program to run it through on my dad's computer. But I tried and it got out there and a couple people read it and it got some very, very helpful critique reviews, I will say. And of course, being, what was I, like 16 at the time, it crushed me.
When you're young, that's the end of the world. Hearing bad.
And it really was. And so, I was done. That was the end. But so I took time away. But of course, I was writing in the background. I still had a whole bunch of stories, but I was the only one reading them, right? Mm-hmm. And that was the way it was until end of 2023. There was I don't even remember what group it was in on Facebook, but somebody put out I'm looking for short story writers to help with this horror anthology. And I'd been playing with the idea of getting back into writing and actually putting my work out there again. And so I was like, you know what? I'll try my hand at it. And that's how I got involved with the Butchered Writers. Now it's 2 years later and I've got 5 published books. Go inside.
That's amazing. Your story reminds me a lot of mine, except I don't have anything published. When I was in 3rd grade, I always wanted to be Laura Ingalls Wilder. Like, the Little House on the Prairie books were it, and I was a horse girl. I got my first horse then, and my favorite teacher was teaching English, and she had us write stories about it. And until our house burnt down, I had those stories that won a contest forever in a frame because it was about me and my horse. And I always loved that.
That is awesome. Yeah, mine ironically was about a horse too. That's funny. We all wanted the horse when we were a little girl.
Yeah. My horse, I had her from I was, I think 9 when we got her, and then I had her till she passed away at 31. So.
Oh, wow.
So you mentioned the Butchered Writers. For those that don't know, can you tell them about it? We love the Butchered Writers. That's a great group.
We do, yeah.
Sure. It is a fun group. The Butchered Writers they started out as Terror Monthly. They're republishing all of their works under the Butchered Writers because they've extended our publishing time because we're all working on our own projects, which is understandable. And they are a collection of indie writers. They kind of range from horror, splatterpunk to kind of like what me and Leonie write, more sci-fi and fantasy. Most of them are more campfire ghost stories, and the group picks a theme. Right now it's quarterly, and we write our short stories, submit them, and then they get published on, I believe, everywhere now. Since John took over, he's getting them out to like Barnes and stuff like that. I don't know if they're in any stores yet, but it is a group of, I want to say Danny said like 20 or 30 authors now from all over the world.
Holy
And
moly, I didn't realize it was that many.
I didn't even realize it was that many either. I was like, I thought there were like 15 of us, like maybe 20. But no, he said that there's like 30 people that submit. So I didn't know that. I guess they're just not all in the chat. And I don't know, maybe it's like the newer writers for these newer projects. And I know that they've got some people that submitted to a project over the summer that was kind of just an open call. And I think they were trying to get some more people involved because of that. So maybe he's including some of them. And I don't know everybody on that list. But yeah,
we do everything. Sorry.
Yeah, we do everything in-house. We have our own, in-house editors, and they write, of course, with us too. We have our own cover artist, who I believe he also writes. I can't remember if Clawmaker writes or if it's just the art. But yeah, they do everything, just the group. And it's a nice group of people. They're very welcoming to new authors. And they're kind of always open to new horror writers who want to get in, which is very nice in the indie community because everybody's always looking for some place to get their first story out there. And they are a great collection. And yeah, we just have a theme, and we just kind of, you have a theme, you have a word, like a word limit, and then we're just allowed to run with it. So just everybody comes up with very different stories.
Can anybody submit?
I want to say that they did have it as open. I don't know if Sarah still has it open as of right now.
Oh, that's wild.
Because I don't want to say for sure that they're open or not. Because I know they were back in August or September looking for more people. I don't know if she's still, because that's when we added Leonie.
Oh, what a great addition.
So
right.
Yeah. What a great addition.
I've never met a group of people that are just so supportive and they just love what they do. The whole group, no matter what we have going on, shows up and supports every single time.
They really are. Just all around good people.
Oh, yeah, that's what you really need in the indie community. I mean, you really need to find your people. And I've got a couple groups of people that I'm like, okay, I've got like the more fantasy-based people, and then like the butchered writers who are more the horror-leaning people. And so that I've got toes in different genres because my stuff expands over a few genres realistically. So it was kind of good to find. And you really, really need a community in the indie author world because while we write the stories alone, it's definitely not something you can really do alone.
Yeah, it's a whole support system. Like
it really is.
If you are on the fence about writing, they would be a great group to get with, and they can teach you the ropes. And
oh yeah, they beta read for each other. They'll bounce ideas off of each other when somebody's stuck.
Yeah, Colt gets online a lot and talks.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a great group. I'm really thankful for the butchered writers.
Yeah, me too. It got me back into the community.
They're good.
So
let's go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask, so you were talking about the indie author community or the indie community. What are your favorite things about the indie or the author? Yeah, indie author community.
The biggest support that I have found have been other indie authors. I mean, I came back originally, and I think I was in that group looking for like my next read. And I mean, if you read one person's book and you review it and you're sharing somebody's work, they're going to notice, and they're going to be like, well, wait, who is this new person that has author in their name?
Yeah.
Now I'm going to go check them out. And I mean, that's how I found a lot of my community, is mainly by reading their books and just supporting their work organically. And they started supporting me. And then we just, started naturally kind of actually communicating. And now I'm in I've got, like, for my book launch coming up on Saturday, I'm in 6 different groups, and I had 3 others that said I could use their groups for a book launch too. And I was like, I think 6 is more than enough because it's going to take me forever to post all of that stuff. But yeah, I mean, it just kind of comes organically when you actually support each other and build that tribe around you. And it's just, everybody is just, when you find the nice part of the indie community, because there is a toxic part, when you find the good part of the indie author community, they're good people.
Yeah. So what is in your opinion, right? Because that's all it is. But what is your opinion of the toxic part of the indie author?
There's a couple sides to it. The ones that, that they can't, oh, that's a big crow. That they can't take criticism, and they try to attack reviewers or other authors for just not liking their work. And it's like, okay, that's not, it's like, that doesn't say anything. Yeah. It's like, and I have unfortunately been on the receiving side of, one of those people who unfortunately couldn't take criticism. And it was like, I had nothing against the person.
Right.
I just didn't like the book. And then they came and attacked me. And it was like, okay, well, now I have something against you.
Right. It's amazing. Like, when you put yourself out there publicly, though, I would think that you'd have to expect some kind of, not everybody.
You have to expect
like it.
that there is going to be a negative reviews. And I mean, I keep waiting for those negative reviews on mine, because I was like, I want that critique. I want the criticism.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, I've always said, those good, low star reviews, if it just says, oh, this was bad, the end, okay, well, that wasn't very helpful, but at least you left a review. But at the same time, it's like, if it's a helpful critique about my writing as a low star review, I'll take it, because it's like, okay, well, that's something I can grow from. And unfortunately, not everybody in the indie community has thick skin yet. I mean, I think it's something we all develop over time. Okay. As I said, I certainly didn't have it when I was 16 and I did my first published work. No, it was certainly the end of the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, we learn and grow, and that's how I take reviews. Is they are one, they're not for me, they're for readers. And that is a big rule to remember. And unfortunately, not enough, even trad published authors take that into account, that reviews are not for the author. Once the book's out there, the book's out there. And that's kind of my view on even my own reviews. I check them regularly when I have a book coming out for my ARC reviews, because I want to see those so that I can use them for promotional stuff. But once the book is out, I'm moving on to the next one. I'm not even checking that anymore.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
sorry, Kay, I just kind of took over there.
No, you're fine.
I was just interested.
I love that you have your Facebook group, that you always try to lift other people up. Even if you're promoting your book or your work, I see you sharing other people's work all the time.
Yeah, I actually have a review page that I have on Facebook. I call myself the Blue Bookworm Reviewer. And yeah, I review only indie authors on that. Anything above a 3-star gets posted. I try to post regularly, as much as I'm pushing my book right now. I've been off of that, but I try. And yeah, because I love indie authors in general. I don't know what it is about trad publishing the last couple of years. I find it very hard to find a good book. And indie authors, maybe it's because there's no box that you have to fit in.
Yeah.
It's such a wide range of creative voice. Whereas trad publishing seems very one note sometimes. Everything sounds the same. Everything looks the same. In the indie world, if I want a romance book, I've got 5 friends I could go and jump and read one of their books. If I want a horror book, I know 20 people I can go and read one of their books. And I know that it's going to be most likely pretty original. And it's going to be well done because I trust these people to write good stuff because I've been reading their stuff for a while.
Yeah. Would you ever want to be traditionally published?
I keep saying no. While the money kind of sounds nice, the lack of control of my work does not. Maybe it's the world I have planned. I want it to be a specific way, and I know that trad publishing, from what I understand, is very, it's if they want to cut a whole 100 pages from my book, they're going to do it, and I don't want to lose those pieces. I don't want to lose my voice, through their editorial process.
Yeah.
And so I keep going with no because, one, I'm not in it for the money. Yeah, that would be nice. That's always nice in today's economy, right? But I came back to writing to write. I have a career to pay the bills. This is so I can tell stories.
I love that you
And
love it so much.
Yeah, and I just don't think trad publishing would give me that because, one, yeah, I mean, you have to query and then you have to wait for your agent to find a publisher. Then the publisher has to go through all that stuff. And so by the time I wrote the story and it's published, it's been 3 years, and it's just like that. I want it to be out there. I've been chomping at the bit for November 1st for this release date for 2 months now. I'm like, come on. And now October just flew by. I'm like, okay, now I've got 5 days to get everything finished.
Well, since we're talking about November 1st, do you want to talk about Shattered Peace?
I would love to talk about Shattered Peace. Let me get a drink real fast, though. So, Shattered Peace is my technically debut novel because I have only done short stories and novellas so far. This is a 700-page plus book that is releasing on November 1st. It is epic dark fantasy. It is also based off of a 5e homebrew tabletop game. For those who don't know, 5e is loosely based off of Wizards, Dungeons & Dragons 5e rules. That means we were rolling dice. And by we, I mean it was me and my husband only. It was just a 2-person campaign that actually started last year after I was diagnosed with a thankfully benign breast cancer and was going through treatment. And I was kind of losing my mind, and Dungeons and Dragons tabletop gaming is very important to me and my husband. So my husband came up with a concept for the world of Aerith and told me to make a character. And the rest is more or less history. We made a map, which I will be posting pictures of on November 1st.
I love
we made actual characters, and there is a map in the book. It's not going to be the world map yet, that will get there. It is the map of the place that the main story for Shattered Peace takes place. And so yeah, we have a whole world map, and he plopped our characters down in the middle of this northern country that is called the Tree Folk Nation, and it is a mainly elven nation. We played for months while I was going through treatment and healing, and just continued playing the game. We're still playing the game, so I don't even know how this story ends, so I can't even spoil that. And in December, when I was feeling better and doing a little bit more writing, I decided I wanted to tell the story of these characters. And at the time, being a short story writer mainly, I was going to tell their stories in short story format. And I was going to just kind of throw a whole bunch of just different scenarios that these characters went through into a collection. And the first story quickly got over 10K, and I realized, okay, these characters have more to say than I can say in a short story. And that was how Lore, that short story collection, was born. I decided I'm going to tell short stories not related to our characters at all. in each of our 6 countries to introduce readers to this world ahead of time. And that actually has taken off pretty well. It's been very well received, and I've loved the feedback on it, and people have loved this world enough that I'm hopeful that when the rest of the world, after my ARC readers, meets our main characters, Reed and Raylan, in Shattered Peace, that they will want to read the rest of this epic fantasy saga that I'm starting. But Shattered Peace itself is a story about 2 fresh monk graduates from the Monastery of the Leaf. But these are not your typical Earth Shaolin monastery monks. These are pretty relaxed, more militant defenders, like the innocent elves that live in this nation from the monsters that plague the world of Earth. The story follows our main characters, Reed and Raylan, as they take their first steps from their graduation to learning what it actually means to be a full monk. And then they find themselves in some very unfortunate situations over and over again that attracts some attention their way and gets them pretty much put in the situation to save their region. They're near the end of the story, setting up for many more shenanigans and quests coming up in book 2, which I am working on. And yeah, Shattered Peace is so far being very well received by ARC readers. There is a lot of combat. It's very found family, combat driven, character driven story. The darkness kind of ramps up as you kind of get hints at what is actually happening around their monastery and their forest that they live in.
Well, it sounds amazing. Do you do your own covers, or?
I do, with the exception of lore. I bought that from another indie author. Her name is Amanda Russa. She does covers. She also writes. She does some amazing dark poetry and a lot of pretty spooky shorts. She's a very talented author. I keep trying to get her to join the Butchered Writers, but she's not trying to get in with an anthology right now, apparently. But because she's really, really talented, I think she'd be a good addition. But I got the lore cover from her. Every other cover I either drew or like bought the image and then like did the text and everything over it. But yeah, for Shattered Peace, I digitally drew the tree in the background, did a whole bunch of shading that took way too long. And then I had a lot of fun coming up with the leaf is very important. They are monks of the Monastery of the Leaf. So each cover of this Balance of Fate series that Shattered Peace is book 1 of will have a leaf on the cover. And then the weapons on it are the primary weapons of choice for our main characters. You will find out which inside the book. And then, yeah, the trees in the background. The logo I came up with myself as well. I found that tree logo on Canva and kind of just messed with it a little bit to make it fit the theme of the tree and the world. And then the Misfortunate Adventures saga, which this is going to be part of. It's going to be the overall name. I feel like I am very fortunate to have not had a worse cancer. I know I am very lucky as a survivor. I have friends who are going through much worse breast cancer than I did. And the characters go through some very unfortunate adventures. So the Misfortunate Adventures title came out of that. And I had a lot of fun. Yeah, I came up with the cover for this one, and I already have the cover for the next one, which I will be doing a cover reveal on Saturday via my newsletter and during the different lives that I plan on doing. So that'll be fun because I'm excited to show that one off. It's actually my favorite out of the trio. But yeah, I have fun doing it. I usually just use Canva and then like I'll use like some photos, just like the free Photoshop to make like the background image and then kind of hide it under some layers of different like little Canva effects. And I love this cover, but the next one's my favorite one.
Yeah,
And
this
then
one's
I feel like
beautiful. The
number 3
colors.
will be pretty. Yeah. And yeah, I know a lot of people make their own via Canva because yeah, it's it's pretty intuitive.
Yeah, it's very user friendly.
Yeah.
So one of the covers that I love on your short stories was the Ice Princess.
Yes. Yeah, I had
Did
fun making that one.
you made that one too? It's beautiful. I love the mountain, and the guy kind of looks like the Witcher.
I was gonna say I think I just typed in, what did I type in? Like fantasy hero silhouette or something. And that was one of the ones that came up and I was like, that's kind of cool. Look, I actually had a couple different covers for that one. Or was it? No, it was Finding Forgiveness. That was one that lost to the one that is on Finding Forgiveness, which is funny because yeah, now everybody loves that one. And it's like that was an option, but you guys didn't want it for that one. Yeah, no, I had fun doing the different layers on that one. And yeah, that one is very pretty. It was on I don't know if it made the short list, but it was on the original vote for the TikTok Indie Author Awards for Best Cover. That one was on there. And I don't remember if it made it to the second round or not. It's not in the third round. I know that.
That was a whole thing. I did not even realize there were so many genres, and
Oh, it was so many pages. So many pages. I mean, it's still 9 pages, I think, for this one, but at least it's all consolidated for the last round.
yeah,
But yeah, when I got on there to vote the first time, I was on my phone and I'm like, oh my God, there's more pages to this.
yeah, it was a lot. But I love that because there's less of authors in their books, and some of them you might not have ever heard of, and you're like, oh, that sounds good. Or
Yeah, and he actually has the entire list of all the nominees Ron Shaw does on his website. All of everybody who was originally nominated is actually on a list there. I actually built my 2026 TBR based off of all the nominees.
well, I love that because it's all indie authors. So
Exactly.
That's a clever idea.
yeah, have you heard of Hot and Parcel? She also has a list of all of the indies.
No, I haven't. I'll have to look her up.
She has a website that's, Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, because you know it better than I do, that you can go on and either buy their books from them, like it takes you a link to
Yeah.
their
Sure.
yeah.
It's like an indie author website. It's
Oh, that's
beautiful.
cool.
He's done. Yeah. It's beautiful. And there's lots of cross-referencing, I believe. She and her team have done an amazing job. An amazing job.
Oh yeah, I totally need to look them up then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's plotandparcel.org.
Yeah, and she's live every night. Like,
Mm-hmm.
That does sound familiar. Wonder if Laya told me to look her up on one of the
probably not.
lives.
Her name's Devin, but her TikTok and everything's got plot and parcel in it. So,
Pretty incredible stuff.
so finding forgiveness at Castle. Can you tell me a little bit about that story?
Finding Forgiveness is my first novella. I took the characters were inspired by some characters that my husband and I played in a tabletop game. Actually, characters that never met in an actual game. They were separate, but they were inspired by Sally and Devin, who we played originally. And story follows a holy knight or paladin, whatever you would like to call him, named Devon, who has unfortunately failed in his holy task that was given to him. And he's pretty much been exiled from the kingdom that he was raised and trained in, and has lost everything. And it is a story of his adventure to find forgiveness, like kind of a self-forgiveness story of like discovering who he is without the duty and expectation hanging over his head. And he does all of that with the help of the halfling named Sally, who is a side character that is one of those side characters that stole the show, because in pretty much every review that I had from my ARC readers were, we want more from Sally. We want a longer story. Can you tell us what happens with Sally afterward? And I was like, okay, I guess I have to continue that eventually.
I love the cover. I love like Assassin's Creed and Skyrim and all those games. So like all those covers just stand out to me because that's right in my alley.
Yeah, I take a lot of inspiration, from video games, tabletop games, anime. So yeah, I try to make my covers a little bit more. I don't even know what the word would be. Cinematic looking.
That's a good word, yeah. So tell us a little bit about you.
I am a mom of 3, and then a fur mom of 6.
Oh wow! Holy moly!
We have three little dogs and 3 cats. One for each of us, huh? Yeah.
Wow.
I am a licensed massage therapist in the state of Nevada, and that is my career. I do not write under a pen name. My name is Megan Russ. I want everybody to know who I am when my clients come in, when they see my books sitting on the shelf in my studio. They have no doubt that, no, that's my book right there. It's my name, my book. And I do a lot of video games, tabletop games as a hobby, and writing. Anytime I can, I am writing it these days, it seems. That my favorite animals are dragons and wolves. I am a firm believer that dragons once existed.
Hey, me too.
Me too.
Absolutely. Yes.
There's way too much proof. There's way too much proof that they existed. And there's way too much proof that 90% of the fossil record is missing. And I believe dragons are in that 90%.
I love it so much.
Yeah. Well, and just think of how much of the ocean we have not explored. Like, you can't tell me there's not a dragon down there somewhere.
Right, yeah, like some gigantic eel. Oh, it's an eel. No, that's a freaking dragon right there.
Yeah.
I mean, or Antarctica. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Under all that ice. Yeah. Oh, snowbargain.
So what do you think it is about pen names? If I would ever publish, I would want everybody to know.
Heck yeah, it's the exact same thing. Like, what is it? Why do some people choose to use pen names and why not?
I think it's the anonymity of it. I think some people don't want, like if they're like a spicy author, they don't want their family knowing that they write erotica or whatever. I could kind of see that, of like they're trying to like play it down, but at the same time, yeah, I was like, I want everybody to know. No, this is me.
Right?
And yeah, I think part of it is that anonymity, so that especially in today's world, that the creepy stalker can't show up. But it's like, if you want to show up in front of my house, dude, have fun. my husband will have fun with that.
Like a little game.
Yeah. And I mean, I get that not everybody has that, so yeah. protection. They want, or they've always wanted to have that as their name. So they want a fake name. So it's their alter ego.
I never thought of that, I guess, but
an alter ego.
Yeah.
Didn't we come up with pen names if we had?
Yeah,
I think I put it in Discord once.
That's been a while. We talked about it.
I played around with the idea of it, but it's like maybe if I like switched to like writing in a romance genre or something that I don't want people to know, that their massage therapist is writing erotica. Yeah, I would be writing directing names like writing fantasy.
I just think with like technology in this day and age, you cannot really be anonymous at all. If somebody wants to find you bad enough, they're going to.
Yeah,
that's true. But you can give them a harder time
in today's world, because there's artists and bands and stuff that try to stay completely anonymous, and people still find them. And it's like, that's why it's like, if you really want to find me that bad, you're gonna find me one way or another.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't want people, because I know if I were to ever write, I'm not a writer, but I would incorporate so many personal things that have happened. It would just come out, and people would be so offended. They're like, "Why did you do that?" I'm like, "Oh, sorry."
Wow. Yeah, I can see that.
And also doing it behind for that same reason. I want whose last name I still have to know. Oh no! Despite because he always said that this is a part of why I took so much time away from writing and trying to publish, is he was constantly telling me, no, you won't make any money. Stop wasting your time doing it. And telling me that it wouldn't ever amount to anything. I want him to know I am an author now using your name. Love it. Like, no, I hope he sees my book on the library shelf, or my daughter comes home, I want to read Mom's book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, for the same reason, and there might be some resemblance between my abuser and some people who show up in some Butchered Writer short stories. Which I think Danny said, I do notice that there is a specific description of your victims.
Danny would be the one to notice too.
Yeah, he would. I think he reads everybody's as they come in or something.
Yeah. Danny was actually the one that got me started in the interviews. He was my very first interview.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he was just so kind, and he's been with me ever since, pretty much.
He is really awesome. And he's a great supporter, too. I mean, he's been ARC reading for me since, I think, the beginning. I think he's one of my, I've got 4 readers who have been reading everything I've written since I came back. And I want to say he's one of them.
And he's so intelligent. I can't ever imagine him giving bad or mean criticism. It would only be kind and beneficial to somebody.
Yeah, I've only ever gotten very helpful critiques from him. And and he's also very good at because I'm always like, okay, if you find any typos, especially as an ARC reader, please get it to me. And but yeah, he's really good at finding those last minute. You missed this one. Awesome. It was just one.
Yeah. So do you have a lot of ARC readers?
I have I did for Shattered Peace, I did 3 rounds of ARCs. I guess technically one of them would be considered a beta. They were other authors who write in more fantasy genre. So I wanted their critique. I wanted their opinion on it. And I started with 5, but 2 of them were like, I don't think I can read it this big of a project. And I was like, that's fine. That's why I offered it to 5 because I figured I would lose a couple. And 3 of them actually read it. 3 of them helped me with, like, I needed scene breaks and I needed a little bit clearer point of view change, which only happens really like 3 times. It switches from Reed to Raylan, and the story mostly follows Reed, but it's a very third person omnipotent type viewpoint. So there's a little bit in her head, and it just kind of gives a broader view of the story, I feel like. But yeah, they were very helpful with critiques. And then I had 5 people in the second round because Laya was in the second round. She got the book early. And then this last round, I think I had my 10 that I've had for the last couple books. And Danny was in this last round. So like anybody who was just like a regular ARC reader who's been reading my stuff for a while, that's when they got it.
It's cool.
Yeah, I think total, I think I have 15, which I know isn't really a lot. Like I know some people have like 10 beta readers, and this was really the first one that I had early readers that saw it pretty much right off of the edit and helped me with the whole, structuring it a little bit better. But usually, yeah, my other stuff, I think, was going out to about 15 people, and I only was using ARC. I wasn't using beta readers at the time. So, and I think all of them are pretty consistent about getting it done, at least eventually. I know not everybody can read, like, Laya can.
In a day, she'll have that done, or well, in a few hours.
She had mine done in a few hours. I think it sent out at like 5, and she had her review in for Shattered Peace at like 12 or something.
Wow.
I was like, how? How did you do that?
Like her and Deb are on par anymore, right? Like they're reading at about the same speed.
Yeah, or
yeah, they're finishing
sometimes a little faster. It depends. Yeah.
Wow, it's really, really amazing stuff.
Yeah. So when I'm writing like a big project like this, when I sent that last one out, I said, I know that how big this project is. Read it at your own pace. I would love to have your review before the release so that I can use it in promos and on the lives and stuff so people can see what you thought. But I get it. I get how big it is.
I felt like a good fantasy book is going to be thick. Like,
oh yeah,
you have to build that world.
And this was actually the second write of Shattered Peace. Shattered Peace originally was 100,000 words long, so half the length of this one. And when I gave that to my alpha, or my husband, I gave it to my husband who reads my work before anybody else does. He's my essentially first editor, makes sure that the story makes sense. And I gave it to him, and he got about, I think, 4 chapters in, and he said, sweetheart, you're writing like a short story author still. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you could be building the world versus this is mostly just dialogue and action. There's not a lot of description. You're still writing like you have a word limit. You have no word limit. And then I was like, oh. And so I started over pretty much from scratch using that draft as my rough outline for this first book. And yeah, it ended up being literally twice as long. And my husband's like, no, this is a fantasy book. This is what people want. And I'm like, do they though? Because I know a lot of people who read short stuff. But at the same time, it's like, there's a lot of Brandon Sanderson's books are over 1,000 pages. I promise none of mine will be that long. I'm limiting myself. I'm not going to write a 1,000-page book.
He's got chunkers for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, what is it, like a Fourth Wing? I mean, or like 600 or 700-page books, and people are reading long books. So it's like, okay, there are people out there who want to read them. I just have to find them. And apparently, Lion knows a whole bunch of them, so that's good.
Yeah, that's kind of my bread and butter. I love fantasy and romancy.
And yeah, this has book one has a very small romantic subplot. I have promised my readers that there will be no open door spice. One, because I'm a massage therapist and I don't want too much of that associated because there's already enough stigma around massage with that. And so I don't want my clients associating any of that with me. And so I've already promised my readers there's not going to be any explicit spice, but there is romance in these stories, and that is going to grow over time. And it's going to be fun because there's going to be a lot of yearning for a couple books before it actually like pays off. So I'm hoping that those payoffs are worth it for the readers. That is my hope.
I think it's sad because a lot of stigma around fantasy or romantasy that there automatically has to be these huge and a lot of sex scenes. And
Right.
Casey Bond is one of my favorite writers, and her books do not have that at all. Like, it has
I'm
some
going to have to look her up.
romance. Yeah, she's amazing. She has the build up, but there's no sexual scenes. Like, if you want your kid to
Right.
read it, they can.
Yeah, I was gonna say, mine are a little bit gory, but I mean, yeah, if they're watching most of the stuff on TV, mine are actually probably pretty tame.
Yeah, or games or anything nowadays.
Right? Yeah, I was like, I mean, mine has fantasy combat. There's blood and gore and the risk of death. I mean, this is high stakes. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention high stakes, low magic, because there's very little magic left in the world of Earth. So these monks are literally fighting with their hands and their fists against creatures that have more or less a little bit of boost against them. So they're the underdogs, and I love an underdog story. I love a reluctant hero, and these guys are very much the reluctant hero.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because yeah, I mean, I agree, because I grew up with the fantasy that there was some romance in the occasional fantasy, but I grew up reading HP and you know dystopian stuff that the romance didn't happen until the end when they were adults, because they started as teenagers. It was very coming of age. When I was reading fantasy and stuff like that, they weren't jumping straight into bed with each other. They're coming of age stories. So that's definitely not going to be these. They're not that they're going to be, the very much the friends to lovers, because they definitely build that connection through their experiences and their surviving everything that they go through, or that I put them through in these stories. Or that they actually did go through in the actual game, because most of it is based very, very closely to what we did put our characters through in this campaign that we're still playing. So I love fantasy without spice, and I'm trying to find more epic fantasy that doesn't depend on that romantasy as much. I want the fantasy without the spice. I don't get me wrong. Yeah, I love a good romantic subplot, but that's not what I pick up a fantasy for. Yeah, that's a lot of what a trad published right now is so much. It's very thick in the romantasy department right now.
Yeah. Which, don't get me wrong, I love that. I'm a romantasy girly. I loved
Oh
Little
yeah,
Women Violet, but I also enjoy a good fantasy book that it isn't based on the buildup of a sex scene. It's about the world.
yes,
It's about the magic.
yes. I love good fantasy that has the in-depth world building without the info dumping and exposition. I'm not a huge fan of the info dump or the world Bible at the beginning of the book that I have to read through to get to the meat of the story. But I get that some fantasy writers, that is how they show their world. But I like showing my world organically through the characters. There won't be any exposition or world or info dumping in my stories. because it drives me crazy as a reader, and so I can't put that into my writing.
Well, I'm super excited, Megan. Like, I hope it goes great. And you're going to be alive a lot Saturday.
Saturday and Sunday, because there's 6 groups on Facebook I'm doing the launch party, and 3 of them are on Saturday and 3 of them are on Sunday. So I'm going to probably be going in and out of TikTok and Facebook, depending on how my phone charge stays. And yeah, doing lives all weekend, trying to show my book, try to sell some signed copies, because I'm trying to get my TikTok shop set up before Saturday. Yeah. And yeah, I've got some coming in the mail, and they will be here Friday. I'm excited to have the rest of them here. I actually
So we
sent
can buy
some.
it from TikTok
Yeah.
Shop then.
The event, yeah, you can either contact me directly through Facebook and buy them, but since I know TikTok has its weird things about if you send people off of the app, you can get flagged and all that fun stuff, I'm going to just set up a TikTok shop, and so that people will be able to just buy it directly through there, and I can just send it out through them and not worry about it as much.
I think
But
that's
right
a
now,
smart
yeah,
move.
yeah, and they'll still be able to contact me directly if they want, but I know that, with all of TikTok's rules, I'm just trying to toe the line as much as I can.
Yeah. Well, because you don't know, I don't know if you get banned from TikTok Shop. Do they ban your, main account that's linked to it?
I don't know. I've heard that people have gotten flagged on their lives for, I'm like telling people to go to their website, or what is it? The link in the bio, I guess, is a trigger for the bot now to oh, you're sending people away from TikTok. Now you're flagged. I don't know if it keeps you from actually selling or if it just kind of shadow bans you. I know that a few people haven't been able to go live at all, but again, I don't know if they're triggering it by sending people off, or if they're doing other stuff that's getting them banned too. I'm very careful with my language on TikTok. I know there's a lot of banned words and stuff, and unfortunately, like like the main character in the Shattered Peace read, she is what the monastery calls a death monk, and I know that I cannot say death on TikTok without getting flagged. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna have to be really careful about talking about her and what she does. And so I'm just gonna call her the dark monk or something like that. But no, it's not dark magic. So yeah, I try to be very careful not to trigger their bot, because I already don't have that big of an audience, and I'm trying to build that and get my book out there, and any means necessary for the free advertisement at this point. And if opening a shop over on TikTok, I guess, helps, I'll try it.
Yeah. Just when you go live with TikTok Shop, make sure you have the book and you have to show it every so
Yeah.
many seconds.
Okay. That's what I figure. I know, yeah, a lot of people that I've watched, they, keep it right next to them, and they keep pointing at it or picking it up and flipping through it. That's what I figured. There were, yeah, some triggers that you have to, I know you're not supposed to stay quiet, and you want to keep the chat going and all that fun stuff. So,
Yeah.
so many rules.
It is almost discouraging for certain genres, like the Butcher Writers, for instance. I would try to do
Right.
videos for them, and some of the covers would get flagged because the art, and it's but that's just what they write.
And yeah, that's the sad thing. Yeah, when you're a horror writer on there, especially if you want to do a reading, which I love that some people, the way how sarcastically they censor themselves when they do their readings. They're like, red sticky stuff. That gets me every single time I listen to somebody doing a reading. But yeah, as a horror writer, yeah, it's hard to want to do a live reading of your book, because it's okay, my own writing could get me flagged. anything I accidentally say could get the bot upset with me. Yeah, it is discouraging, especially when TikTok's supposed to be like the most book indie author friendly platform.
Well, yeah, and that's the
But
thing with indie authors. That's your promotion. Like TikTok's
yeah,
big for a lot of indie authors, so it's just hard.
it's hard on a lot of the different platforms because it doesn't help when all of them have their own set of rules.
Yeah. So book event.
Yeah. Mhm.
Do you have any coming up, or are you going to any? What's your goal?
So I do have goals to eventually get out there to like those type of signing events. I live in northern Nevada near Reno, and I know there are different author cons and stuff from time to time over there in Carson City and Reno. But I actually did schedule my signing with my local library. And it's going to be in January. On the 27th of January, I will be at my local library doing a signing. But for other book events, it's all been online so far. It's all launch parties with other indie authors and like book anniversary parties and stuff like that, just promoting everybody else's work.
Yeah.
And like this week, I'm part of a couple parties, not just my own. So it's a big week for book releases, apparently.
It is. We are having a Halloween party on Wednesday.
Yes, I will be there. I have my Reed costume. I will be dressed up as my character.
Oh my gosh, that makes me even more excited now.
Yeah, we actually tried on our costumes the other day, and I'm finishing my husband's mask for his character because the character Raylan is what's known as a mercy monk. He's a healer, and they're kind of that faceless healer so that you don't get attached to the person saving your life type thing on the battlefield. And so he has this mask that his character wears, and I'm finishing actually painting it for because he said if he's wearing the mask, he'll show his face on TikTok.
Well, that makes sense, but I'm excited to see them. I'm sure they'll be awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited to wear it again. It was fun to put it on. So, and then yeah, I'm getting my toes in the water with the like in person events. I think I told Leonie last week on TikTok of I'm waiting until I have a couple books that I can have a more decently full table than just one book. And she's like, I went with one book. And I was like, yeah, but I don't have any author friends to sit with. I want a full table if I don't have anybody to sit with.
Like you'll meet a lot of cool people, and
I
it's a
will.
lot of fun. I met Casey at a fantasy ball actually,
Nice.
and I would have never heard of her books, unfortunately, unless I was at that ball and she was signing books. I was like, heck yeah. And now she's one of my favorite authors. So,
And I mean, yeah, there's actually an event that happens in like the spring and over the summer here on our main street. And I met another author that actually lives here in my local town who writes horror. And I met him at the last one, and I was like, "Wait, there's another local author here?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's the one who actually got me in with the library to get that signing done. And uh, and I know a few people who live over in Reno who are authors. So yeah, I'm hoping that when I eventually go, I will know a few people and be able to kind of network with them in person because that'll be fun.
well, that'll
But
be exciting.
so hashtag goals.
I'm going to a fantasy ball Saturday, so
That's awesome.
yeah, a little bit. Well, it's been so much fun. Is there anything that you want your readers to know before we head out?
Um, You can find me pretty much on every platform at Megan Russ Author. I write a lot of D&D adventure based fantasy, and I hope that anybody who picks up my stories just kind of finds that found family aspect and can escape the crazy world we live in for just a little bit. So, no, I appreciate you having me on, Kay, so much.
Oh, thank you for being here. It was a lot of fun. I'm excited for your book. I'll
November
definitely.
1st.
Yep.
I'm so excited for Shattered Peace to get out there. November 1st. It will be on Amazon, KU, ebook. It is on sale. If you don't have KU, it is on 60% off sale until release date. So it's only 3 books on ebook right now, but it's going to go up to 9 on release date. So if you don't have KU, run over there now.
Right now.
And I will be offering all of my ebooks for free over the weekend. So if you join my newsletter, you will get links to all of my books sent out on Saturday, except for Shattered Peace. All of my backlog is free over the weekend for all of my readers, so that if they haven't read anything of mine yet and they've been waiting for it to be free or on deal, everybody can grab my stuff and read it for free.
And super sweet. A lot of authors don't
Yeah.
do that. So.
Like I've said, I'm not in this for the money, and I want people to enjoy a story. And if they can't afford KU, I get it. That is the only way I can read, is if it's offered for free or if it's on KU, and I get it. So for people living on a budget, it's I try to offer my books through the Stuff Your Kindles as much as I can. So if you guys want it for free, this weekend is the time to get it.
I already pre-ordered.
Nice. November 1st, Shattered Peace, epic fantasy, big old book. I hope everybody will pick it up.
Me too. Go check her out. Follow her on TikTok. She's on Facebook.
Instagram, Blue Sky. I am on at Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, but I'm hardly ever actually on there. You can join my mailing list by visiting meganrussauthor.books.com. And yeah, I try to be I'm most active on Facebook and Instagram, but I'm trying to get more into TikTok. So yeah, if you want to reach me over there, at Megan Russ Author.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for hanging out. I'll share it with you as soon as it goes live.
Awesome.
You guys go check her out.
Thank you so much, guys. This was awesome.
Thanks. Happy launch.
Yay.
Bye, guys.
November 1st, everybody. Bye.